Hi everybody, I hope that you're blessed and that you're doing well. Our discussion for this video is don't wait to be happy. Now, before we get into our discussion, if you haven't had the opportunity to do so, please become a YouTube subscriber to my channel. Just go ahead, hit that red button. I thank you in advance for your support. And also, if you like the video, like it, of course, and share it. So let's get back to our topic, and that is don't wait to be happy. Happiness is essential to our well-being. Happiness is something that I realize that a lot of people are striving for, that many people do not have. And what I have learned in my life is that in order to be happy, you have to be in a certain state. In order to be happy, you have to look for it. In order to be happy, you have to invite it into your life. So in this video, I'm going to share with you just a different way to look at happiness and how to get more of it in your life and certain things to consider when it comes to happiness. So the first thing is, when it comes to having a happier life, is that you don't want to dwell, or we shouldn't dwell on the hypothetical. I think a lot of people run into this issue and a lot of people end up unhappy because they're waiting for a certain circumstance. They're waiting for something to happen. They'll say to themselves, I'll be happy when I have more money. I'll be happy when I have the relationship of my dreams, or I'll be happy when I get out of this relationship. I'll be happy when I have kids. I'll be happy when I get a better job. And those are just possibilities. Sometimes when we get the money, when we get the relationship, when we get the job, it doesn't necessarily make us happy. So don't spend time in a hypothetical. Happiness is something, it's a state, and it's something that you have to work toward and that you have to consider each and every day. But don't think and don't fall into the trap of believing that just because you're in a certain circumstance or a certain circumstance is going to bring you happiness. Don't fall into that trap. And a lot of people end up getting what they want and discovering that is not making them happy and is not the thing that's going to make them happy in life. So the number one thing to consider when it comes to happiness is do not dwell in a hypothetical. Just work toward happiness each and every day. The second thing is focus on things that matter. Many of us are unhappy. Many of us struggle. Many of us go through because we are focusing on things that are small, that are minute, things that we let little things get under our skin. Look at it this way. If what you're concerned about or what you're thinking about, if it's not going to matter in a year, 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years, please don't spend time consuming yourself with thoughts of it. Focus on what's important. When we focus on the important things, when we set our mind on our goals, it makes us happier individuals. But if we are focusing and spending our time on thinking about our problems all day, thinking about what's not right, you're going to be one miserable soul. So focus on the things that matter. The next thing is do more things that bring you joy. This is a biggie. Sometimes we get so busy that we forget to have fun. It happens. It happens when you are adulting or just being an adult. You know, kids are great because they know how to have a good time in any environment or any setting. They'll create fun time. So as an adult, and when you get older, you have to learn, okay, I have to make sure that I'm doing more of the things because we get so overwhelmed with responsibilities and stuff we got to do. So you make time and really schedule the things or your hobbies or the things in life that will bring you joy, the things in your life that make you happy, the things in life that make you feel more like yourself, the things in your life that just make you just put you in a sublime state. So whether it is hiking, whether it is working out, whether it's knitting, or whether it's working on your car, whatever it is that makes you happy, make sure you schedule time each and every week to do it. Me, I'm a creative person, so I have to make time for creativity, whether it's writing, whether it's sketching or painting or whatever it is. I have to make time. I have to make sure I make that time for creativity because that's what brings me joy. I also like baking, so I try to bake at least once or twice a week. So whatever it is that brings you joy or just a little bit of happiness, it could be just sitting down watching a comedy. Whatever it is, just make sure you schedule time for it and that you're doing it. The next things that we should consider about happiness, or what you should know when it comes to the topic of happiness, is that You need to create it. What we need to understand is that it's no one's responsibility to make you happy or to make me happy. It's not your spouse's responsibility. It's not your significant others, or your boyfriend or your girlfriend's responsibility. It's not the responsibility of your children or your friends. It's nobody's responsibility to make you happy. We have to take ownership of our own happiness, because although, yes, your spouse should be meeting your needs, and you would expect the people in your life and the people that you love to behave in a certain manner, but sometimes people are going to behave in a manner that makes you very unhappy or unhappy in general. And sometimes our closest relationships could be the biggest source of our unhappiness. So please do not rely on others or the behavior of others in order for you to feel happy in life. It's nobody's responsibility. So it's our job. The responsibility is with us to make sure that we are happy, to make sure we do the things that make ourselves happy, and please don't put that responsibility on others. So we have to create happiness. The next thing is we should seek to maintain happiness. So there's ebbs and flows in life. I mean, you're not going to be happy all the time. There's times when we can be sad, when we're going to be down, we're going to be a little depressed. It's life. Circumstances may come and may get us down for a bit, but we have to make sure that we try to keep our state of happiness up, and that we're conscious and aware of it. At the end of the day, I kind of I take an assessment, and I'm like, how did the day go, or how did the week go? How happy was I today? And I've started to do that, and so now I'm making a conscious effort to make sure I maintain the happiness. And how do you do that? Well, one of the main anchors for happiness is gratitude. The more grateful you are and thankful you are for the things that you have, the happier you'll be. I have yet to have met a grateful and thankful, miserable person. So the more because what it does, it shifts our focus away from the negativity. It shifts our focus away from what we don't have. It shifts our focus away from the lack in our lives. And when we're thankful, when we're grateful, we begin to see, okay, yeah, I don't have everything I want, or maybe some of the things I don't need, but look at these other things that are going up, that are happening in my life, that are going right. Look how God is blessing me in this area or in that area. So make sure that you have gratitude as an anchor to maintain your happiness. And the more grateful you are throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, and throughout the year, the happier you'll be. The next thing is look for the good. I have to admit that I am really a glass half empty person. I have a very pessimistic nature. And in knowing that, I have to work very, very hard every single day to make sure that, I'm looking for the good, because I walk into the room and immediately I can identify, some of you know what I'm talking about watching this video. I can identify what's wrong in the room. That's the first thing that's happening in my mind. So shifting from that mindset, and I don't want to be that type of person. What I do is that I kind of when the complaints, and when I see something that's off, or that what I deem is wrong, I stop it. I said, okay, we're not going to go through this right now. I'm not going to complain about this thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on what's good in the room. I'm going to focus on what's happening that's good. One of the main things that irks me when I'm out shopping, especially grocery shopping, is you think you got on a line that's moving, and then all of a sudden it just stops moving. There's this long price check, or the person in front of you has decided to pay in pennies. So it's just something ridiculous, or they're giving the cashier 100 coupons. So that used to really irk me. That used to really make me upset, because I just felt I used to feel like, this person is stealing my time. They're taking time out of my life. And, I had to learn that everybody is not operating on my timetable. People are going to move slow. People are going to forget. People are not here to serve me, or, what I want, or things that I think that need to go my way. So I had to learn that. So nowadays, when, I get in that line, and then all of a sudden things just stop, I'm like, you know what? I could take the opportunity for the next few minutes to look at the rack along, the checkout aisle, and, maybe I could find a cooking magazine, and I could get a new recipe or I can respond to a text message that I got, or maybe check my emails. And if I do this now, I don't have to do it later. So I either I become productive, or I just say to myself, thank God that I have money to go into a grocery store to buy groceries. Some people don't have money to do that. Thank God, I live in a society and in a part of the world where there is food and where there is drinking water. So these are the things that I think about instead of complaining about, the lady paying in pennies. So stop the complaining and look for the good. The next thing is, last but not least, is that happiness is a gift from God. In the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 2, verse 26, it reads, "To the person who pleases him, God gives him wisdom, knowledge, and happiness." I'm going to stop right there. So there is a stipulation before these gifts that God gives us. The thing is, he wants to bless each and every one of his children. But the number one thing is that, okay, before that happens, before the blessings happens, we have to live in a manner and conduct ourselves in a way that pleases God. So what pleases God? What pleases God is living a life that glorifies him. What pleases God is making him the center of your life. What pleases God is making sure that you fulfill your God-given assignment on earth, and that you're living in a purpose, and that you're living life with life. So those are the things that pleases God. So as we please God, he will give us things like happiness and the gift of happiness, knowledge, and wisdom. Not once in my entire life and in my relationship with the Lord that I've ever been in his presence and been unhappy. So that's another thing too. The more time you spend with God, the happier you're going to be. The more time you spend in his presence, and the more of his presence, and the more your divine nature is awakened, the happier you're going to be. I'm least happy and I'm most depressed when I don't take the time to spend with God, when I slack off, when I don't pray as much, when I don't read the word as much, when I don't meditate as much, and I begin to feel the depression coming on. I begin to feel the anxiety coming on, and the pressures of the world, and little things begin to get under my skin again. And I'm not in that peaceful state anymore. I'm not in that happy state anymore. But if you keep these things in mind, don't waste time in a hypothetical. Don't focus on things that matter. Do more of the things that bring you joy. Create happiness. Maintain happiness. Look for the good. And remember that happiness is a gift from God that he's willing to give to anyone. You'll be a much happier individual. Well, that's all the time that I'm going to spend on this topic. I really appreciate you watching this video. If this video has been a blessing to you, please share it with someone who you think may benefit from it. Thank you as always. Take care. God bless. And I will see you in the next video.